guys, and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing none other than, yes that is right, Doctor Strange. Not Doctor Strange 2, we already reviewed that one. We are going to be reviewing Doctor Strange in honor of Doctor Strange 2, obviously. So,
subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.
obviously, when Doctor Strange came out, when all those movies came out, I didn't really have the channel going that much, so I wasn't reviewing every MCU movie at the time, so now that I am, I'm going back and reviewing movies that I didn't review, and Doctor Strange is the one that we are going to be reviewing today. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So, before Doctor Strange, before this movie ever came out, I have to be honest with you, the only thing I knew of Doctor Strange was his name and his look. Like, honestly, so the only thing I remember of Doctor Strange before this movie is I could have sworn that he showed up one time in a Spider-Man TV show that I used to watch back in the day. But other than that, I have to be honest with you, I knew nothing about Doctor Strange at all. And in fact, because of his get-up and his look, even though this sounds completely silly, I could have sworn Doctor Strange was a villain? Yeah, I had no idea that he actually was a good guy, a hero, before I saw Doctor Strange the movie at all. And yeah, I just his get up. I'm not a comic book reader or anything like that. I know I saw him in one of the Spider-Man TV shows I used to watch. I thought he was a villain originally, so I do like his costume. I think it is pretty darn cool. But let's go ahead and get into the movie itself. So, Doctor Strange. You know, when it comes to the MCU films, yes, I will say this. This movie feels very much like an MCU origin story, I have to admit that. But at the same time, this one is probably the most unique MCU movie when it comes to an origin story, other than maybe Shang-Chi. This is actually really a interesting story, and I really do like this movie. I think it is a really good movie. So, what is the story? So, we got Doctor Strange, and by the way, I absolutely love that joke from Infinity War when he meets Spider-Man for the first time, and Spider-Man's like, "Hey, I'm Peter Parker, I'm Doctor Strange. Oh, we're using our made-up names, and I'm Spider-Man." Oh my god, that was hilarious. I actually really do enjoy the character of Doctor Strange as well. He's actually pretty cool. Only wanting to do what is right for the quote-unquote universe and everything together. Not just the world, but the universe as a whole. I think it's really fantastic. It makes a really interesting character out of him. But it didn't start out that way. When he first started out, he was a doctor, and his name was literally Doctor Strange. And basically what he did was he was a surgical doctor, and when you're a surgical doctor, you have to use your hands a lot. Like, your hands needs to be perfectly still to do your work. And he was one of the best surgeons around. And then a car accident happened, and he literally fractured all the bones in his hands, so his hands could never work the same again. He could never be a doctor again. And he drove everybody away looking for what he wanted, his life back, his hands back, his job back, you know? Before the accident, he had his girl, and he had his job, he had his career, he was on top of the world before that car crash happened, and after that, his job was gone and he drove his girl away. I really enjoyed Doctor Strange's story because of this, because dang it just gets to his lowest point. You know, being a doctor, he believes in science and all of that, and eventually the thing is, he doesn't believe in magic and mystery and or anything like that. He just believes in hardcore facts, and you can tell even with his character, even though he does become one of the greatest wizards, I'm gonna call him, in all of the MCU. He's still hardcore to facts when it comes to his character. I do like that, and it's really because of that later on he makes hard decisions for not himself, not the world, but the universe, because he thinks of all of the facts, all of the variables, all of what could happen. And I like that. It really shows in his character, and it comes straight down to episode 1 when he's a doctor and everything. I do enjoy Doctor Strange's character a lot in this movie. Now, eventually, because he broke his hands, he wants to get them back. He wants to fix them. He hears about this great and powerful doctor who is a surgery master, and he goes searching for him. Actually, it's a her, and she's not a doctor at all. She's a monk, basically, and she knows the mystical arts of magic. Now, Doctor Strange, being, you know, not believing in magic, being the way he is, he's very, what's the word? He's very skeptic of this whole thing at first, but once she starts showing her, he's very skeptic of this whole thing at first, but once the headmaster starts showing him the truth of magic, he has to learn it. He has to know what he can do to get his hands back, and so he starts learning magic. And from that, you know, he finds his magical cape, he gets his magical suit, his gloves, starts lifting books into the air with magic, starts reading all he can, diving deep into the knowledge of magic that he can learn from. And here we go. We got another guy who, after finding out that he's part of the team, he kind of gets a little jealous and decides to go crazy and try to release Dormammu because he wants to become the headmaster. And the headmaster, of course, she is very old and eventually she dies, and so she gives our boy Doctor Strange the most powerful item in her collection, in her being, the thing that she is supposed to protect forever. And yep, it turns out that what she is trying to protect ends up being none other than the Time Stone. Yep, the Time Stone, one of the Infinity Stones. And so, he, after she dies, gets the Time Stone. He's tasked with protecting it as well as becoming the headmaster of all of the mystic arts. And, yep, he has to eventually defeat the bad guys, and Dormammu eventually gets released and everything goes crazy. And while he can't necessarily defeat Dormammu himself, he's not as powerful as Dormammu at all. He does trap him in a time loop using the Time Stone, and eventually when Dormammu has had enough and finally gives up, Doctor Strange is able to return everything back to normal and save the day and go on with the rest of the world. As, of course, the mystical, magical master he is, Doctor Strange. I really do like the movie, I really do like the story, and yes, I did really just skim through a whole lot. Granted, this video needs to be like 15 minutes long. I can sit here forever talking about Doctor Strange, but of course, I want you guys to eventually get on with your day, right? So I can't just sit here and talk about this movie constantly, but I actually can because I really do like the movie. Now, I want to make that clear. I like the movie. If I take this movie out of the MCU, it's actually one of the best movies I've seen. It's a really good movie. I don't have one thing bad to say about the movie. But when I put this movie into the MCU, when I compare it to all the other characters of the MCU, Doctor Strange, I like him. I don't love him. He's just, at the end of the day, he's just not my favorite character of the MCU. I really do like his movie, I really do like his story. I found the story very unique for the MCU, and I enjoy it every time I go and see this movie. But at the end of the day, I just like it. I don't love it. In fact, honestly, it should be a 10 out of 10 movie just because of, there's really nothing bad I can say about it. But the reason why I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 just comes down to the fact that I like the movie, I just don't love it. There's nothing wrong with the movie, it's just when you put this movie compared to all of the other MCU movies, it's just an average good movie. Nothing wrong with that. It is a fantastic film, and if you haven't seen it, I think you really should go watch it right now. With that said, I can tell you what, the MCU would not be the same without Doctor Strange, and I'm actually really glad that he's a part of it. I'm also glad that he's not a villain. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of Doctor Strange? And with that said, I am out. Bye.
Subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.